Hey guys, you might be wondering, why am I standing in front of the Audi bumper? Well, we're gonna polish this turd up. It did a really good job for what we put into it and how it worked. It worked great actually, but we're gonna up the looks a little bit. Now you also might be wondering, this doesn't look like Rich's shop, and you're friggin' smart, because it's not. It's my shop, and I wanted to work on it here.
The RS2 is a very sought after car in Europe and all over the world. It makes a lot of jam.
That will get bolted to this goodness. I recognize those.
Yeah.
Now I know our turbos didn't need a rebuild, but you thought you could upgrade them a little bit anyway?
They need a rebuild, a little one.
Oh, look at this! We're gonna see how this works out, because I've never done this before.
Okay, so fiberglass is pretty nasty stuff. Be ready that it is a gross job. Here we go.
So what we're gonna do to the front bumper is I'm gonna make a fiberglass mold. I'm gonna reshape it with foam and stuff, which I've never done before in my life. We're gonna make a fiberglass mold. I'm gonna pull that off to have a negative and then make another fiberglass inlay so we can get a more aerodynamic and less junkyard looking front bumper for the Audi. So there's a couple of reasons why we're doing this. First of all, this one's pretty beat to hell. We can improve it a lot, and it's pretty heavy. And we've got this big aluminum checker plate, skid plate in the front. We're gonna make one out of fiberglass and some kind of composite stuff in the middle, I don't know yet. But we're gonna drop some weight off the front of the car because we don't need it there. Because the radiator's in the back of the car, we don't have to worry about other cooling or airflow, so we're just gonna concentrate the airflow here. If you haven't noticed in the other videos, this bumper is the original Audi bumper. It comes down to here, and then Rich took another Audi bumper, cut it, and just tapped it onto the bottom, and it actually worked really well. So hats off, Rich, you did a good job. And there's not much to improve, so we should just put it back on. Just taking some of this high-tech front splitter rods off. Rich, you're not getting them back either. They're staying here. I guess I could have done that. So I'm gonna disassemble this down a little bit, take the aluminum skid pan off, and then replace it with cardboard so I can mark my front edge where I want it to be. And I'm gonna make some cardboard boxes for my intakes, and I'll start foaming it after I tape it, because we wanna try and save this because there's a lot of guys that help with the project. We're done. On the next episode. Well, the only reason I'm putting this tape on is to protect it a little bit, because we kind of want to save it. If this was sacrificial, I'd just spray foam right onto it and toss it in the garbage when we're done. That probably will happen anyway, but we're going to the extra expense of taping it and doing a really bad job at it. Because don't forget, I'm gonna put foam over this. We're gonna put filler, compound. We're getting rid of these signal lights in the front. They'll be all smoothed out. So this is just really just to protect what we got. Just doing some CAD design here. Nothing but the best for the for good old Debocho. Look at these. Precision. I don't even have a regular pair of scissors, so I gotta use tin snips. Oh, that side turned out so nice. Now you're filming me. So, the other side too. kind of get the idea. So she's looking pretty minty. We got her in green. These are gonna be air intakes, so I just kind of got a basic shape. They're not square, they're kind of not in the right place probably, but they're just there to save more or less foam. And same with this guy. That's just because that's gonna get filled over top. We're gonna bring the actual piece is gonna be out here somewhere. I don't know yet. We'll figure that out as we start cutting. And in here, I kind of put some shields in there from some pizza boxes just to keep the foam from falling down and kind of stick to the bumper, and then we can pull those away and sculpt it. So this is some real high-tech engineering here. What you find at your local thrift store, eh? Oh, it's just 2 cans. Oh, okay. It's 2 aerosol cans, an A and a B. Huh. Yeah, that's a little fancy thing. Oh, look at this! I'm like a... This is sick, but we're not gonna get a lot out of this thing. We got the Big Daddy Sprayfoam kit. Enough dicking around. I just gotta make sure I do it right. I'm actually gonna read the instructions because this is not cheap. See, look, first I have to get this hazmat suit, but we can't get them now.
Hey, that's worth a lot of money. Did it come with a hazmat suit?
No, it did not.
Oh, because you could sell that.
I can tell.
It can't be any more difficult than just opening the valves and pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
Wide open.
They're really tough.
They are really tough.
There we go. This is cool. Yeah. For some reason it just eats the bumper. We did do a test piece to make sure it didn't eat the bumper, but you never know, so I'm a little apprehensive.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we're just looking at it, and this side is turning out better than the other side. So what we're gonna do, I'll start making like cardboard replicas of like this flat piece here, and transfer it onto the other side to carve it out to make it look somewhat symmetrical. But the wrap guys are gonna have fun hiding all my imperfections, right?
This light has to come ahead. This one's sunk in more than the other light. This height is perfect for this piece.
Yeah.
Because there's a little chrome piece that goes on top, and we're trying to eliminate that. We'll tell the wrap guys to make a chrome piece right
just
there.
get some chrome.
Yeah, just do that. It's no problem. And then if the wrap guys can fix all the oil leaks at the same time, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, just wrap the oil pan.
Yeah, just wrap the oil pan. Just make it stop leaking.
So we're just building this up a little bit to recarve, to get the contour a little bit closer on the car. And it's probably all gonna stick to the car now. So we'll just spray paint it, call it done. So we're getting the mud ready. So we've got our rough shape done. We did some smoothing and trying to match both sides. Now we got to put a thin layer of drywall mud on it to give us a nice smooth surface so we can pull a mold off that. And we're gonna see how this works out because I've never done this before. And it should be interesting, I think. Let's So we got our first coat of mud on her, and it looks so beautiful and smooth. Well, it will, but got the first coat on, gotta let it dry. I'll smooth it a bit so I can put a couple more coats on it to get the shape we are looking for. And hopefully it won't look like old cake.
Okay, so we got the bumper at our house now, and it's not that I don't like the look of this bumper. What I don't like is that this sticks out 4 inches past the front of the car, and then we still have the skirt underneath, and it kind of looks like a massive underbite, especially because the tires are already so far back. So Vince and I are making just a new top part of this that the bottom half will attach to. So if we damage the bottom half, it's not as big of a mold to make every single time. This is nice and light. Basically, we just made an aluminum bracket and then made a pipe that fits in with a bracket that goes to the back of a piece that I found at V&R. It's got a couple ribs in it, so it's nice and strong on the top and the bottom. Basically, this will get welded like that. Then we'll make our brackets to mount the intercooler to this as well, and that'll make it nice and strong. So if we damage it, we're gonna be driving too fast anyway. We're gonna damage it regardless, but this is nice and super light. And then we'll make just something to attach the bottom half to this, and we'll weld up some nice sides to the corner of this. You love welding old shit, don't you, Vince? This is brand new. This piece was brand spanking new. Princess Auto. Yeah. Everything else, scrapyard.
This one actually had quite a bit of glaze on it, actually. It's pretty weird.
Yep, that's how it goes. I'm gonna stick to scrapyard. Here we go. So that light isn't as crooked as can be, but you can see that we're kind of going for edge of this. The light will come out, and then now it's not massive buck tooth, it's just a little lip on the front, and then we'll continue that up into the side there. Very, very nice. And then we have some aluminum and stuff to weld braces for the coolers and that. Much, much better. Okay, so we've got our plates bolted to the frame of the car, I guess. These slide inside, and then we'll tilt it however we're happy with it, move it in and out according to the hood. This is gonna go up a hair. I did straighten that headlight out as best as I could, but all the brackets are homemade. So it is what it is. And we're just gonna bash into this. I know it is something. So we're not gonna get too carried away, but now we can weld these pipes solid to the plates. And then from there, we can start making our sides to go to our tire. We're gonna go straight out and then weld a little loop on it that connects to the side that comes up there. So here we go. All right, this intake pipe is now going to be a bumper. prefer my spray foam shaken, not stirred. All right, so we've got our welded bumper on top of what Stefan did, so just had to tweak it a little bit. So what we're doing first is getting our main mold with the styrofoam. He already put one layer of drywall on there. Keep in mind that it's not going to be this deep. We just have to make a skin coat of the actual bumper and then attach it to the actual ductwork for the thing. So this is kind of tacky now, so I can kind of shave this. You just got to go in a little bit and just shave it down so that it follows the profile of both sides. That, and then this corner was in a little bit. This is where the bend was on our bumper, so just had to build that out a little bit. And then he had a corner right in there, which was the original bumper. We'll shave that down, and then we'll put a skim coat of drywall mud on there, and then let that dry, and then we're laughing. So here we go. All right, got it filed down to the shape of the bumper. One little spot there and a little corner there is going to need a little extra drywall, but that looks pretty good. We'll put a little bit of mud on that, and that looks very, very nice. I'm happy with that. Here we go. Bumper's starting to look awesome. It's factory. So we'll just weld like a wing up on that side, and these big enough for a cat to fit through. So that should keep the the oil cool for the power steering and the transmission there. What do you think, Kitty? You like it? Okay, so when I put the bumper on again, the coolers are actually a lot more that way. So I just filled it in with a little piece of tin, like this, bent up. This is just steel or aluminum, I forget. Basically, just find the shape, measured. So it's nice to cut a nice sharp line into drywall rather than try to curl around it. So if you are gonna do something like this, make your hole nice and small, pretend like it's not there, and then cut a nice line afterwards. You're gonna punch that in like it was meant to be there, and then fill across it. A couple more skim coats. Look at that. Oh, beauty. She's beauty, eh? And we'll splash some paint on it. So, that is the back of the bumper. Just painted it black just to see what it would look like. And because there's a couple cracks and a little bit of the drywall's coming off, I'm just gonna put a little bit of Bondo on it. I'll do a skim coat of Bondo on it, sand it smooth one more time, and then tomorrow we'll be able to start taking our mold off of that. So here we go. This is the last little sanding, and then we'll start putting wax on it, and then we'll do our gel coat. Okay, so a bunch of different steps we're gonna start once we made our mold. We're gonna use a honey wax and spread that all the way around. That's gonna help us release our fiberglass mold. On top of that, we're gonna spray some polyvinyl alcohol, which will get rid of the fish eyes and whatever, because as you can tell by my mold, we're super cautious and want the perfect bumper. Then we're gonna put our black gel coat on. And that just comes with some catalyst, and then our resin with catalyst and our fiberglass mesh. So about 4 coats of wax, 4 to 8 coats depending how picky you are. Then 4 coats, 15 minutes in between that. Then 4 coats of this, being then 1 big coat of this, and then a couple layers of resin. this is very much a, I would describe it as like a Teflon layer, kind of. It is very slippery, but it's very, almost like silicone. I don't know how to explain it, but 4 coats, it dries pretty quick, especially in the sun. It's about between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius out. So we'll let that sit a good half hour now. It was about 10 minutes in between the other coats, and then we can put our gel coat on. But yeah, dried really nice, and you can also kind of test it on surfaces that aren't exposed. They got a couple of runs, so they'll probably show up. But this is my first time. For this, you need yogurt cup, your gel coat, your catalyst, medicine cup for your kids, an old welding rod, and a drill. Now, you want about 15 milliliters. This is 57 millimeters, so just a tiny bit for 1 liter. Welding rod, and you bend it like that, and then it shakes like crazy as a stir stick. Shake. Do it outside, otherwise wear a good mask. So we want about 7.5 milliliters. Now we have about 30 minutes or so. Aaron still buys the good brushes.
Those are $3.
Okay.
They're less than $1 each.
Okay, which is any more and it's no good. Okay, so the bumper's dry. This is our gel coat. Next stage is the fiberglass. So you want to lay out some fiberglass and cut it to strips that we need. I need 9 feet to make it around roughly 16 inches. So we'll cut 4 or 5 layers of that, keeping in mind that I need enough to do the actual bumper because this is just making a mold of the bumper. So we've got 30 feet, 9 feet, gives me 3 sections and a little bit of change, and I can cut 3 out of each one. So we should be good. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna lay our fiberglass on top, but we need to stiffen that up a little bit so that doesn't flop all over the place like a fish out of water. So I'm gonna try electric fencing. Nice and stiff, but it's easy to work with. You can find this at your local farmer. It'll just be around the outside of a field. And if you need to know if it's actually electrified or not, just pee on it. And then you'll find out soon enough. Otherwise, you can go to the hardware store. I think they sell it there too. But you can bend it nicely to the shape that you want. And then 3 or the second or third layer in, you can lay it on top and then just lay the next layer on top of that. Super easy, right? Sure. Okay, so fiberglass is pretty nasty stuff. The chemicals, if you get them on your hands, it's disgusting. Fumes are terrible for you. So that's why, I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but that is a 4-foot fan in the shop. So we'll turn that on. I would have preferred to do it outside, but it's already 9 o'clock at night and dark. So I'm gonna put my mask on and then we'll lay the fiberglass in place. We'll mix our resin, which is 100 milliliters to 1 millimeter, so roughly twice as much as the gel coat. So we'll do 15 milliliters for half a liter. This is 4 liters, so you can start to figure it out as you go. Don't mix too much, take your time, and just be ready that it is a gross job. Here we go. so there it is. I think the camera ran out of card or battery, but I was too gross and to touch any of the expensive equipment, so apologize for that. But it did work pretty good. Just cut the patches into smaller pieces, just let it hang over because we're trimming it right to the edge and right at the bottom, and we're probably even going to go up a bit higher, and then secure the bumper down to the skid plate on the front here, on there. And then at the back here, we're actually going to weld, like continue the aluminum into the wheel well there, and then come around so we can just bolt it to the side there. So it'll be easy to come off. We'll trim everything. I didn't fold it over, and then see if this comes off. I'm going to do all that outside. So Vince is going to give me a hand there, moving it outside and piss off some neighbors and get them high on fiberglass fumes. So here we go.
Very nice.
So that PVA only comes off with water. So I boiled some water. It's still a pain in the neck to get off, but it gets kind of gooey, kind of a pain. But then it shows all your imperfections underneath. I got a lot of imperfections. A couple spots like this looked like it got all wrinkled in there. I don't know what happened there. 2 spots on the one side, but then the main face turned out really good. I'm happy with that. Nice and smooth, no issues there. That was me trying to scrape that PVR off. So we'll do a little bit of touch up, we'll sand that down, and then we'll do the process all over again, because we are going to make our mold. And I'm out of resin. That took 1 full gallon of resin, which is quite a bit. Here we go. All right, so now's the time to do all your repairs. Just sanded it down. I don't know what happened here with these wrinkles, but something shriveled up there. And then the sand marks were a little aggressive in the drywall. So we'll sand those out, put a little bit of filler in the low spots, and then we can make our actual bumper. And here we go. Okay, so I waxed it and I sprayed more of the PVA on there. The problem is the PVA is what's going into the fish eyes, bad enough that it's gonna end up looking like that. Now this will get cut off, this will sit on top of the bottom skid pan, but I tried spraying it high pressure, low pressure, a lot, a little, and it either beads or turns into fish eyes. So I kind of smoothed it out with the sponge again, but you're gonna see all that in the gel coat. So I don't know, comment down below as to what I'm doing wrong. I know I'm going to get some marks in there, but kind of frustrating as to I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. I would probably try and do just the wax and forget about the PVA. I've seen a couple other videos without the PVA and it works fine. So that would be my recommendation going forward. So here we go. right, so this is where we're at. I've got a wooden subfloor as my front skirt. We're gonna redo that, and this is just cheap aluminum real quick, just to kind of hold everything together, but I can stand on the front skirt now. All right, so that is the fiberglass bumper. It turned out really, really well. So well that we might try carbon fiber on the roof when we move the scoop to the front of the roof now that we've got a wing in the back. But before we do that, next episode will be all about the wrap. Now, if you guys remember, Ian did the stripes on the Mustang, and he hates stripes because there is zero creativity with that. But he actually said the Audi was one of his favorite projects because it was also the most complicated car he's ever done because of the molding, all the 90 degrees, the front bumper, all those things. There's a lot of things that actually is extremely difficult. So thanks for watching, guys. Lots more good stuff coming up. We're constantly working on it in the background. We've got dyno runs coming. We've got some other small fixes here and there, but we really want to say thank you again to you guys for watching. This car kind of kicked it off, really got us in contact with a lot of people that have been really good to the channel. But you guys were there first. And if you guys remember, we sold some merch around the first Audi build and wrote everybody's names on the bumper. Now, we did replace the bumper, so we're rewriting all the names on the inside of the car in the turbo area. So you're definitely going to want to look for your name because we have not forgotten you guys and girls who helped start the channel in the first place.